So I do this, get it knocked out, and then we'll do some dungeoning and stuff. I have a whole thing about it. I gotta go from the bottom to the top. Game of the year would be the last thing I do. And some of these will not be what you think. Hi-Fi Rush. Yeah, Hi-Fi Rush is gonna get. We're gonna start with the ones that I don't care about whatsoever, and that's best esports events. I do not care. I'm gonna pick Evo, but I do not care one way or the other at all. I would also say a few of these I would prefer them get rid of. One of them being best esports events. I would prefer them to drop this entirely. And the best esports person. I do not care about those at all. But I will give it to Evo just because Evo's cool. I know people that go to Evo and work there, so whatever. You know, that's whatever. Esports coach, like, I don't care. None of this stuff interests me, you know? Like, I'm gonna pick the person playing at Valorant. Because I don't care about Counter-Strike, and I don't really care about Overwatch or League. Like, all this is just a waste of time. But I will put a vote, you know, who cares, you know, whatever. But none of that matters. Like, who cares about best, what is this, ESPYs? Like, what is this? I don't know who any of these people are. But I'd rather Valorant win. This is a terrible name, so I'm gonna pick Evil Geniuses. You know? I don't care. Congrats to whoever wins, but like best esports athlete, none of these people. Not a single person. But I'll pick Faker because I remember hearing like what, a week or two ago, he won like something in League and people were like, yo, this guy's the GOAT. Bite me. I don't care. But hey, I'm sure he'll win. So when the thing happens, third, I can be like, I told you so. But I don't care. You know. It's one of those things that I feel that like gamers take themselves too seriously type of thing. Like, I'm not knocking them. But you know what I mean? I'm not voting for LeBron James or Michael Jordan. You know. I'm just not. But I don't care. Now, best esports game, then you can kind of argue, okay, which one is probably the best competitive game? You know, you can argue Dota, you can argue Valorant, Counter-Strike 2. I'm going to pick Valorant, because if I were to play any of these games, if this was PUBG in 2018, I would be 1000% in. But if I were to play any of these nowadays, it'd be Valorant. I'm sorry. PUBG has gone past its days. But I want to get those all out the way ASAP, because those do not matter any way, shape, or form for me. You know. And like none of these people, once again, like they don't know me, so it doesn't matter. I'm not seeing a single stream of any of these people. Not seeing a single stream at all. Except the person that's always on my advertised TikToks and Twitter and Twitch has been Cypher PK. So guess what, Cypher? You don't know me and I don't know you, but congrats. But if it was up to me, not a single one of those people would be in that. Much love, I'll say. How is GTA? You know what? If GTA 6 had been announced a month ago, this would have absolutely been here. Which is crazy that they decided to like not put that in there. But that being said, next year, this is gonna instantly be just GTA 6 and nothing else. Nothing else will really matter. You know. Now what's crazy here is personally, Like a Dragon probably has the most like uphill battle, but I off the top probably would be one of the best games when it drops. easily. You know, like the studio's dope. They've been making some really great stuff, but it's hard to fight against Star Wars Outlaw, and it's hard to fight against Square Enix with Final Fantasy, and even Supergiant with Hades 2. If it was any other Final Fantasy 7, if it was any other Final Fantasy besides 7, maybe. Yeah, it's like Yakuza. Yakuza, like, that is a fantastic series. Maybe one day I'll stream it, but crazily enough, for me, it's between Star Wars Outlaws and Hades. Even though I think the thing that probably has a higher chance of succeeding is Hades 2, I'm going with Star Wars Outlaws. Crazy. But a open world RPG set in Star Wars, built under Massive, who made Division 1 and Division 2, but whatever. I'm more anticipating that game than Hades 2. At the same time, if I had to pick which one's going to succeed at launch, Hades 2 easily is going to succeed at launch. And there's a very big chance Star Wars Outlaw doesn't even get made. We never got Star Wars 1313. And we never got Star Wars, what's the other one? There was another one that came out that was supposed to come out that was supposed to be just like Star Wars Outlaw. But my fear and my worry is that we're not even going to get Star Wars Outlaw. They're going to can it just like every other version of this game that they've tried to put out. Because this game has been announced, canceled, shipped to another studio, launched, announced, canceled, dropped by the studio, sent to another studio, type of stuff. So maybe, but I'm going to pick Star Wars Outlaws. Just because. Because on paper, it could be phenomenal. What's going against it is that it is a Star Wars game, and that's being made by Ubisoft. But I'll give it that. I will stand behind how I feel about it. But don't get me wrong. I think Hades 2 is going to win. So. Best adaptation. I will say, Butters, thank you for the 29 months. I will say, one of these that I saw that I didn't expect to be good, that ended up being pretty good, is Twisted Metal. We all saw the promo material of Twisted Metal and how like absolutely god awful it was. And it ended up being pretty solid. If you are a Twisted Metal fan. Because I expected it to be the worst thing ever. I also have to say the same thing about Gran Turismo. Gran Turismo was actually, if you haven't seen Gran Turismo, it's actually a really good movie that suffers from pretty bad marketing and unfortunately the strikes of the year. That being said, it really comes down to The Last of Us and Super Mario Brothers. I wouldn't be upset if Super Mario Bros. Won, but I gotta go with Last of Us. Castlevania's good. Don't get me wrong. But I do not think Castlevania has a chance against The Last of Us nor Super Mario Bros. Movie. Super Mario Bros. Movie, any other year, wins through and through. But these two are just juggernauts. You know, the last juggernaut we had since probably Super Mario Brothers movie has to be the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. From an adaptation standpoint, which is what you got to remember, you have to take a piece of media, and then transform it into another media, you know, and make it really, really good. And Last of Us easily sweeps the floor with pretty much everything else easily. Now, I like both the Sonic movies, considering what we have historically gotten. Both Sonic movies are really, really good, and they do a really good job of adapting the source material and the lore from the shows, from the 90s shows, from the video games, all the way up to, I think, 2008 or 2010 movie, was something like that. Now, they're pretty, I like them, especially considering how bad they initially were. It's funny that Baldur's Gate 3 is considered the best multiplayer game when most people are playing it solo. you know, you know. I know some people play multiplayer, but I wonder what the over under is on people that played it multiplayer versus solo. Like, I don't even know if Diablo 4 would be considered, for outstanding online multiplayer gameplay and design, including co-op and massively multiplayer experiences, irrespective of game genre or platform. I'm gonna go ahead and say, anytime that Super Mario Bros. Wonders is in a category, I have no statement on it. Not a single statement. All I can go off of is what I've read about, what I've heard about, and what other streamers that I've talked to about it or watched play have said about it. And it's funny that so many people have said it's easily the best Super Mario Brothers game since Odyssey, which is very high praise. And so many people are basically like, this is easily one of the best games since whatever, But I just don't know. Like, Street Fighter 6 is built on its multiplayer online experience as well. So, like, how do you separate the game and its multiplayer experience, right? Because some games might be really good, like Baldur's Gate or even Diablo, but are they accentuated or elevated by their multiplayer experience? Or are they necessary? Versus where Party Animals is, in order to play it, you have to play a multiplayer, I could go another couple 100 hours in Baldur's Gate and not have a feel that I need to play multiplayer. When did Lethal Company come out? I have no idea. Maybe in the past 2 months. But, like, by that point, it's kind of too late if you're trying to get, like, a nomination and stuff. It's kind of too late for that kind of stuff, though. I love you, had a friend into it, I say. Yeah, but can't you play, like, 4 people with that, though? Saw the Butterfree email from your stream on Friend Jammy stream. I had to take a look. Well, welcome on in, Ambient. Shout out to you, bud. I was about to listen, man. I don't know. You got to remember, a lot of this is voted by the media, and then the overall, like, winners are voted by the communities or by the people, by the players, by us. So if your favorite game isn't there, it ain't there. So. More couch than online? Historically, yes, but I think they had to sooner or later, they had to start being online since most people don't play couch anymore. Couch gaming really isn't a thing anymore, which is why party games like Party Animals and Fall Guys is so popular, because they're able to simulate a party game couch experience where you're not on a couch or, you know, near friends. And I know Super Mario, from what I've watched, simulates that, but I don't know if they simulate it well because I haven't played it. So, but that era of, it's like, if you think about it, it's like fighting games, where fighting games used to be couch games or LAN, if you will, and as we got more used to it being online, that type of genre has to somehow evolve and still generate a couch level experience when you're by yourself. So now, I don't think they're I would prefer not to have to be next to someone to play. I've played a lot of fighting games online, and I would argue that they have made a much more strong imprint playing online than next to someone. And that's from a competitive standpoint. You can play your friends all day and you can smash them, but nothing's more satisfying than fighting Jimmy in his basement 100 million miles away, you know, and hearing them like yeet their controller into a wall. You get to play a much higher skill player too, not being able to play, not having to only play someone next to you. Yeah. I can't, in good conscience, say Baldur's Gate because I did not put a lot of time into the multiplayer, and I never played Diablo 4, so you won't be seeing me vote Diablo 4 across the board. So for me, unfortunately, it's really between Party Animals and Street Fighter 6. And it's probably going to be in Street Fighter 6. Since you don't get Street Fighter's quality levels where they are without it being a multiplayer game. Just don't. You know? You just don't. This one's kind of like easy because it's got to be Forza. If I were to play any racing game now, it'd be Forza. Everything I've watched of Forza and the time that I've put into Forza, and I come from the era of Need for Speed and Gran Turismo. And Forza, if I were to play one, it'd be Forza. Not even close. Forza seems to be fantastic from a racing standpoint. Best sim strategy. Pikmin 4? Best game focused on real-time or turn-based simulation or strategy gameplay, irrespective of platform. I'm gonna be honest, I've only heard of City Skylines 2 and Fire Emblem. Besides Pikmin, but I didn't even know it was a Pikmin 4. I think the last one I ever even played was Pikmin 2. And that's because it was like a Pikmin station at work. Advance Wars. Well, sorry, buddy. You don't even have a shot. Pikmin 4. Company of Heroes 3. I have no idea what that is. City Skylines 2. Jurassic Park. Wasn't there a Jurassic Park game recently? I played Street Fighter 6 at TwitchCon last year. And in the 45 minutes of it that I played, I thought it was fantastic then. So even then, I was like, it's really good. All right. I think I'm going to go with City Skylines 2. Just because of that's the only one I've actually played myself. of these, and the rest of them are unfortunately fighting a losing battle with my knowledge of those games. Sorry. Best family. Disney Illusion Island. Party animals. Best for the family appropriate. For the best game appropriate for family play, irrespective of genre or platform. Yeah, it's probably just Mario, honestly. This is where Mario's probably sweeps. This is probably Mario's game of the year. That's this category. And then best fighting, it's probably still gonna be Street Fighter 6. Yeah, I would still go with Street Fighter 6. Yeah. Best RPG. Starfield, Sea of Stars, Lies of P, Final Fantasy 16. I'm just gonna start giving you what you want. Out of all 5 of these, there's only one of them we played. And there's a reason why. Baldur's Gate. Oh, best action adventure. Well, Alan Wake 2 is out of here. I'm very surprised Jedi Survivor is even here. I really was certain people would forget about that game. Resident Evil 4 is a remake, and we already ranted about remakes on this channel, so it really comes down to Zelda and Spooderman 2. And I know I talked a lot of stuff about Spider-Man 2. But if one wins this category, I gotta go with Zelda. Gotta go with Zelda. Got to go with Zelda. Got to. And Spider-Man is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. But in pretty much almost every category except for a few, if it's up there with Zelda, it's probably not gonna get much out of it. Now this one's tough. This is tough. Because the folks at Gearbox sent us a key recently to play Remnant 2 to help promote it. But I don't have time to play it. If only they had done it earlier. But I am going to go with Hi-Fi Rush. But had we played, or had Gearbox hit us up earlier, it probably would have been Remnant 2. But I'm going to personally go with Hi-Fi Rush. From an action standpoint. But I would not be against being okay with Remnant 2. I don't even know what Ghost Runner 2 is. And I don't think Dead Island 2 and Armored Core 6 have any shot. Best VR and AR? Why do we care about VR so much? Resident Evil Village VR mode. They keep trying to push it so much. If I had to pick one, I would pick Resident Evil. Honestly, I think Resident Evil could be pretty solid. Also, I get to look at Dami Mommy IRL. So there you go. Best mobile game. Wouldn't it have to be Star Rail? Like, it wouldn't be Ever Crisis. I don't think Hello Kitty's gonna be winning. Nor Monster Hunter Now. Or Terra Nail. So it's gotta be Honkai Star Rail. Now that one seems meant for mobile game. Best debut indie game. The only game I saw any promotional material about and gameplay about was Viewfinder. And this one seemed pretty good. So since I've not heard a single thing about the other four, I gotta vote for the one game I've actually seen. And almost played. I almost played it. Almost. I didn't, but we almost played it. Here's this category offered a lot of massive blowback in regards to what's considered a independent game. And a lot of people think Dave the Diver should not be here because it has too big of a studio and publishing behind it. And its budget is like leagues higher than anything that would generally be considered an independent game. You know? And it's interesting. Especially when you have Cocoon here, who's made by Anna Perna as well. You know? I found it interesting, but that being said, there's only one game I kind of want to see win. And that's actually Sea of Stars. I never got around to playing it, but I watched a bunch of the playthrough on YouTube. And the game is actually really, really good. Really good. So I gotta give it to Sea of Stars. And I really hope I can squeeze out some time in the next couple of months to play through it. But I think Sea of Stars reminded me a lot of your more old traditional indie games. So I gotta pick that one. And it's the only one on this list I want to get around to playing sooner or later. Personally. This should be really easy. Right? You know, best community support. You know, Baldur's Gate, Cyberpunk, Destiny, Final Fantasy, No Man's Sky. I'm not picking Destiny, by the way. I'm also not picking Final Fantasy 14, nor No Man's Sky. For me, it comes down to either Baldur's Gate or Cyberpunk. And personally, for recognizing a game for outstanding community support, transparency, and responsiveness, inclusive of social media activity and game updates and patches, there's only one. Only one. Best ongoing. I think it'll be disingenuous to pick any of these titles except for one. There's only one. There's only one. And it's Fortnite. Not anything else comes close for best ongoing title. Not a single thing comes close to Fortnite. I'm actually very, very surprised that Fortnite is still going as strong as it is 6 years later, if not leading the charge in a lot of things for making a ongoing title. I mean, the Eminem concert from a couple of days ago tells you all you need to know. It's absolutely insane, and every other studio should be like learning. Just we talk the same about how every studio is afraid of Baldur's Gate 3 and what they've kind of set. I would have to say the same thing about Fortnite for the live service side of things. Yeah. These I can't really have an opinion on. I've not heard of a single one of these ever. So this is probably one I won't put a vote on. For accessibility, for me, it's gotta be. I remember Hi-Fi Rush had a lot of really good accessibility options, and so did Spider-Man 2. I don't have a lot of opinions on Mortal Kombat 1 and Street Fighter 6 and Diablo 4. But we did say, whenever there's Hi-Fi Rush, whenever there's Hi-Fi Rush, this is a tough one. We had the dude from Final Fantasy 16. We got Cal Kestis. We got Idris from Cyberpunk. From what I've seen, his performance is really good. I've watched a lot of his performance on YouTube. And then we got the girl from Alan Wake 2. We got Asterion. And we got Bully Maguire. He's not gonna win, but I'm probably giving it to Yuri because that man was. He told Harry, "You need to stop popping these pills." What's up, Fair Jazz? What's up, Casey? I stopped playing Fortnite before No Build came in, but I'd have to be a No Build enjoy as well, personally. I kind of am okay with Idris. I could definitely see from what I've seen Idris winning. I think the rest of them are up in the air, but nah, I think Idris got it. I personally don't get the Asterion love. Personally. And that goes with like I kind of felt bad when he hosted us and stuff, and all his fans came through, but I don't really rock with it like that. Like he does good as him, but Black Solidarity. That's the GTA 6 trailer. I did. Asterions for the girls, is it? I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. Oh, best audio design gotta be Hi-Fi Rush. Although Dead Space's audio design is phenomenal, but it's gotta be Hi-Fi Rush. Whenever it comes to music and audio, Hi-Fi Rush, man. Hi-Fi Rush. Not even close. Art direction's interesting. If there was any category that Alan Wake 2 or Liza P has a chance, it is an art direction. But for me, it's got to be between Hi-Fi Rush and Zelda. for outstanding creative and or technical achievement in artistic design and animation. Like a lot of Lies of P just seems very steampunk-y. And I guess it depends on if you like that kind of style. But none of them have as creative art design than Hi-Fi. They just don't. Yeah. Like Zelda has some. But the problem with Zelda, like a lot of Zelda's art direction that's actually really, really good for me is in the depths. Like that area. Outside of that, it's pretty standard. It's cool, unique, standard. But it takes it over the top for me is the depths. But even then, I can't see any of these being better than Hi-Fi Rush. Like, they're not even close. The only one that could probably be close would probably be Alan Wake. But even then, like, you've seen a lot of that out there. And you've seen a lot of people take that style and just do the exact same thing. It reminds me a lot of like how Stray's art direction last year was just through and through unique. Easily. Big Day Thursday, yep. Best narrative. If we had played Cyberpunk, maybe this would be in competition, but as far as the outstanding storytelling and narrative development in the game, nothing comes close. Nothing comes close. Nothing comes close. Best game direction? Same thing. Nothing comes close. For these massive big ones, awarded for outstanding creative vision, innovation, and game direction and design. Neither one of the other four break the mold in their genre as a sequel like Baldur's Gate 3 does. They just don't. And then I go the opposite direction and pick Super Mario Brothers Wonders. Super Mario Brothers Wonder for my game of the year. I've always found this listing to be very interesting. Recognizing a game that delivers the absolute best experience across all creative technical fields. You got Alan Wake 2, which is just happy to be here. You got Baldur's Gate 3, who's been steamrolling. You got Spider-Man 2, who's probably fighting a few weights above its respective class. You got Resident Evil 4, who should not be here, as it is a remake. But if a remake can get Game of the Year, then like that opens up the massive gates for remakes in the future. And that's a very bad precedent. You got Super Mario Brothers Wonders, who's always going to be here. And then you got Tears of the Kingdom, who's unfortunately turned itself into Horizon Forbidden West. I'm not saying it's not great. Don't get me wrong. It's one of those things that, like, historically they've pushed against remakes getting second chances or, you know, getting to double dip in like during awards season. And there's been a lot of arguments about, you know, where's Sea of Stars, where's Hi-Fi Rush, where's Final Fantasy 16, and blah blah blah. You know, oh, it took its spot. And you have to then ask yourself, if a remake does enough new stuff, does that then make it, you know, against it, you know? Now, I don't think Alan Wake wins. Now, Alan Wake is just there. It's just happy to be there. Mario's there because you gotta have a Mario game. You just do. Resident Evil 4, if it wasn't a remake, I think nobody would have an issue with. That's all I'm saying. You know, the other three have been in a fight for a while. Insomniac Spider-Man 2 unfortunately has little chance of winning, as its main its main categories are best action adventure game, and I could see it winning there. But like, I think in a straight up fight with Zelda, it loses. You know, just does. It's a lot like I've been saying for months that this is God of War and this is Elden Ring, and pretty much anywhere these two are up against themselves, this is gonna win. Zelda's gonna win. Just, it's gonna happen. Anywhere that story stuff, like narrative and stuff, happens, this would win. Unfortunately, this also came out with a much better story. Just is. So it's suffering now from the issues of it's being really good, but it doesn't do one thing significantly better than one of the other two things. Well, no, I don't think being exclusive is an issue. You know, Zelda's an exclusive. Mario's an exclusive. Technically, Alan Wake 2 is an exclusive, isn't it? Epic Games. So, but personally, I gotta go with Baldur's Gate. Gotta go with Baldur's Gate. Suits and Spider-Man? Listen. Suits are the last thing you want to worry about in Spider-Man, because nobody wears a suit they force you to for a story standpoint. And I go with Baldur's Gate 3. Got to. You'd be a fool to think anything else has a chance. And let's be honest, at the end of the day, whatever you think doesn't matter. What I think doesn't matter. It's all fun and games, you know. Too many people get bent out of shape over like what the Game Awards say. That's who was poo-poo. And that's why the moment the cutscene was over, I took it off. Like every other person did. Like presidential elections. Presidential elections actually matter, though. Totally different.